Yes, this is the PS3 game that made every Xbox 360 fanboy wish they had one. Demon's Souls is an excellent game with a simple storyline, but nonetheless a PS3 must buy. The game is set in the kingdom of Boletaria, which at the time is crawling with evil, but you have to go stop the evil, and that is what I mean by a simple storyline. Anyway, enough about the game, let's get into the gameplay. In Demon's Souls, when you die you are taken to the Nexus, which is the safest place in Demon's Souls. Here you can upgrade your stats, fix up your weapons, get new armor, learn spells. It's just the best place to be. In Demon's Souls there are 5 worlds you can choose from, and in each world you unlock not really checkpoints but little steps called archstones, which take you farther through the world. As you can see, Demon's Souls has pretty good graphics for an RPG game, although it is not a typical RPG. The combat system works well with the button layout, which is pretty good, and when enemies die in Demon's Souls they leave items that you can pick up that will help you along the way, but this depends on your world tendency, which I'll explain later. In Demon's Souls you have to use different tactics to defeat different enemies. As I remember, when I first played Demon's Souls I ran out like Rambo and almost got killed in the first seconds of gameplay. You do not always need to hack and slash your enemies. You can use spells that you learn, which will make the job easier. The only bad thing about the spells is that it drains your MP, which does not refill itself. And if you're connected to the PlayStation Network, you can leave messages or read messages left by other users who are also playing Demon's Souls. If you recommend the message, the player's hit points will increase at that moment. As you play the game for a while, you will familiarise yourself with the world. The game forces you to learn from your mistakes every time you die. I remember the first time I came down this passage, I remember getting cooked by the dragon what flies over here. The surroundings does make it pretty evident though, as you can see bodies which have been burnt lying on the floor here. As you can see, there are some frame rate problems and busy errors in the game. Even the PS3 cannot run the game at the maximum frames per second. Sometimes you meet some main characters in the story whilst you're exploring the world, and it is sometimes cool to follow them.
How did all of this happen?
See where they are going.
Father!
At times they may be going to a place where there's enemies and they can help you fight the enemies, and others they lead you straight to a dead end where they just turn around and walk the other way. Yeah, it's a little dodgy. The game does try hard to kill the player. Sometimes enemies sneak attack you. Lucky enough, most of the sneak attack enemies are weak, so they do not exactly kill you. And if you see a blood stain on the floor, it means that a player died on that spot. You can click X on the blood stain and see how the player died exactly. And sometimes you may be attacked by dogs or little creatures. Anyone who's played Call of Duty World at War will realise how annoying it is to be attacked by dogs. You can sometimes find merchants during the level,
something that suits you.
and basically they can help you get equipped. And the street you're pretty familiar with after playing Demon's Souls for some time. You will learn to hate it after seeing it for the first maybe 20 times. If you return to the spot you died at, you can reclaim your souls. I just didn't feel like going back. As there are no checkpoints, when you die you will be returned to your closest archstone. Sometimes this can be miles away. Different enemies respond to different weapons in Demon Souls. Sometimes a sword, what might be great against one enemy, is useless against another. You cannot pause the game in Demon Souls. The game brings up a little dialogue which you can operate, which works like a full screen, but it's not a full screen, as the game does not freeze. So if you get an enemy what runs to you, you're pretty unlucky. And some enemies will try and attract you to kill them in Demon Souls, such as this enemy here. He laughs at you, making you want to go and slash him, but if you do, you'll be cooked. You've got to beat him at his own game. Eventually he'll stop laughing when you kill him. You can learn spells in the Nexus. There's a lot of spells to choose from. Well, not really. Not at this stage in the game. When most people increase their character's stats, they normally increase stats such as strength and vitality. But if you want to memorize more than one spell, you're going to need to upgrade stats such as intelligence. But every time you increase a stat, the number of souls needed for your next upgrade increases dramatically. To make the game even harder, Demon Souls created the world tendency system. If your world tendency is pure white or almost pure white like mine, when you kill enemies you will get health related items. If your world tendency is pure black or almost pure black, you will get very little health related items, but instead you will receive many more souls for enemies you kill, although they are significantly stronger. Each have their advantages and disadvantages. And finally, how do Demon Souls reward their best players? They do it by creating a section of the Nexus called the Pantheon, which displays most of the world's best Demon Souls players. Awards range from the most trophies obtained, to the most phantoms saved, to the most souls earned. I think the coolest thing about it is seeing other people's characters, which are sometimes a lot different to yours. It also displays stats, such as the total death count. As you can see, most players here have a lot of deaths. This guy had 1048 deaths. But he does have a cool sword. It also shows the total hours played, which is sometimes over 300. Overall, I rate Demon Souls 9.5 out of 10, as there are not many games made nowadays which work like this. It is one of the best I've played in a long time. It's an RPG that many PS3 gamers should get, or at least try. That is if they want a challenge, as it is one of the hardest modern games I've ever played. It is merciless. If I had to compare the game to any game I've played, it would have to be Prince of Persia. Just a lot harder and with more freedom. But overall the game is good and I think everyone should try it.